till the hour here in the Imus Morning program. Please welcome now to the program nationally syndicated radio talk show host, TV personality, New York Times bestselling author Laura Ingraham, and I, Fave. Good morning, Miss Ingraham.
Hey, hi, man. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. I'm glad you had he's my lead-in music for the last 11 years on my radio show, John Hyatt, one of the absolute best performers still in Nashville, a great songwriter. I love that segment with him. You were great.
Thank you. Do you have his new album, Mystic Pinball?
Got it. Love it. Play it on my show all the time. And look, I'm a longtime fan of Hyatt's, and I sat on the bus with him after his performance at the Birchmere here in Washington. And he's just he's the coolest guy. I mean, I know you know him well, but I just love him. Love him, and the talent. I try to do what I can to elevate talent on my show, and I know you've done it for so many years. And he's just one of the greats, and a terrific guy as well.
Do you like Lyle Lovett?
Love him, love it. I love Tift Merritt. I saw her last night at the Birchmere. You're going to think all I do is abandon my children and go see live music, but you have to mix it up in D.C. Imus. Otherwise, you're focusing on this political stuff 24/7. It'll drive you crazy.
They both have new albums. Of course, Hyatt. You've been playing it, but Lyle Lovett's got a great new record called "Release Me." The boy's all tied up on the cover.
No. It's phenomenal. You got to get the new Tift Merritt CD called "Traveling Alone." She's very much into Emmylou Harris, kind of that tradition of singing. Little Lucinda Williams, little Emmylou. You're gonna love it. It's phenomenal, and she's just another standout individual and a great talent. And sometimes in the music world, talent doesn't rise to the top as much as it should, but she's fantastic.
Have you been talking about this? What appears to be a burgeoning, and perhaps even more than that, cover-up regarding the attack on the Libyan embassy on September 11th?
This is one of those stories that the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. And you think, this is a bunch of conservatives piling on, and they're just trying to make political hay of it. And maybe there's some of that. But when we learned that as of last weekend, the Benghazi compound, Imus, has still not been secured, neither by Libyan authorities, as they are, or American officials. And now we find out that our chief counterterror guy, John Brennan, remember he's the one who said that Obama made the gutsy call after killing bin Laden. So John Brennan is just arriving there today. Now, if it was safe enough for Christopher Stevens and our Navy SEALs to be there without security, why is it that we couldn't send in our FBI or other intelligence teams into Benghazi, interviewing everyone who was on site at the time within a matter of several hours, not several weeks? It's what's leading people like fairly sober senators like Tom Coburn, who yesterday on my radio show said this looks like a massive cover-up. And I don't know what else you can conclude, that we're just sending people now, and the whole place has been contaminated, the entire scene.
I heard Bernard Goldberg, and do you like him?
I do. I like Bernie a lot. He's great.
I heard him in a rally talking about it last night, which brought it to my attention. So,
yeah, we don't send people to secure the compound. Individuals are coming forward to American media outlets saying, well, I saw the whole thing take place, and nobody's called me. Like, what? They're like dial a friend to call, calling up the New York Times. I haven't been interviewed by anyone. What? It's lunacy. And you have to believe that we're going to learn the real truth about what went down after November 6th. And maybe that's why we're pushing this early voting across the United States. We want people to vote before any other debates take place and before we learn the truth about Benghazi. To me, that's lunacy.
Coming up on 17 to the hour here on the Imus Morning program. I just looked on the monitor. Laura Ingham, my girl, looks like a movie star. What is that all about?
Yeah. I'm a middle-aged mother, single mother.
It's all right, baby. So, hey, the speculation, or not the speculation, but the rap before this first debate was that debates don't really move the numbers all that much, either historically or they didn't expect them to here. I don't know whether either statement's true or not. You probably do, but my question is they appear to have moved the numbers in Romney's favor this time. Is that accurate, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a really strong debate performance at a time where I think a lot of people in the country are anxious, they're worried. And they might like Obama as a person. They might think Michelle is great. They might like the daughters. They might think Bo the dog is cute. But in the end, they're worried about the future of their country. And when you saw both men on stage, if you were just looking at the two of them and listening to them without concern for politics, if you had to ask, okay, in a crisis, which man would you seek advice from on stage? I don't think it's a close call that you'd probably seek both financial advice and just advice in a crisis from Romney, who seemed like he had it together. He was fairly gracious, even when he was criticizing the president. And he's rattling off answers like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, these are my points. I've thought this through. This is where I'm going to take the country. And like me or not, but this is what I know. I know how to do this stuff. To me, that's very reassuring and comforting to people who are thinking America is now like being buffeted by events, economic events, and world events, and not really influencing them. And so I think his strong performance might have reassured conservatives and people who are more middle of the road. Liberals aren't going to like him no matter what, but I think people in the kind of the middle saw something quite different, and they saw an Obama who was without his teleprompter and who was without his cocoon of supportive press people. And he was like the emperor without any clothes up there. And, you know, the razzle-dazzle only works so long. And that razzle-dazzle might work with Katy Perry and George Clooney. But when you're up on stage and you got to defend this record, man, the rubber hits the road.
Doesn't seem to me that the president relished having somebody talk back to him. That had been a new event for him, at least going back 4 years or so. So
yeah, the only one he has talking back to him usually is Michelle. Imagine how that date ended, how that anniversary date ended, Imus. That must have been that was a rough anniversary, how that thing ended. She didn't look happy when she got on stage. I mean, you can't say that, but I can. She was very unhappy, and, you know, can't blame her.
No, you're right about that, by the way.
No.
Have you been a Romney supporter from day one or no? Oh, yes.
No, I basically just let the process go forward. I supported Romney in 2008. I like him very much. Back in 2008, I encouraged him to be himself. You know, he's a pragmatic, kind of a realist, problem solver, fixer. Don't try to be something you're not, and be the CEO-in-chief at a time where our country really needs one. We need a commander-in-chief, but we also need someone to really right this ship of state, this economic ship of state that's headed for the big iceberg on January 1st. So he's doing that. He did that in the last debate. I think he should be careful. I know there are a lot of people, old Bush people, who are trying to push him into this, you know, kind of more of a Bush mold foreign policy. I think he's got to be very careful on that, because I think in this foreign policy debate, Obama's going to look right at him and say, Mitt, come on, you're going to take us into another war here? I mean, what are you suggesting we do differently? And I think there's a lot of war weariness out there, and I think Mitt should stay on the economy, talk about competency in foreign policy, but just tread carefully on the foreign policy waters. I think that could be a little bit dangerous. People don't want America to have to get into another war. That's for sure. They want a strong military, but they're worried about that.
He has a prissy little walk, like maybe those magic underwear are too tight or something. You know?
Oh, get out. A prissy walk. Oh, how about Obama strutting down the jetway, going like this, like I'm too cool for school, like with that little thing he does?
No, I hear him snapping his fingers and bopping along. No, I hear both of them. So they both have the little idiosyncrasies when they walk.
Yeah, well, we don't, though, thank goodness. You don't have any, and I don't have any. Well,
that's not the point, Laura. I just made an observation about Romney.
Well, Romney tends to get a little, you know, he tends to get a little bit like this sometimes with his body language. But in the debate, he was a little looser, which if I'm Romney, I'm getting rid of the teleprompter. I'm not doing any teleprompter speeches. I'm just doing stuff more off the cuff, because I think I don't think the teleprompter is Romney's friend. I think it is Obama's friend, though.
What do you expect Thursday night?
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Well, you know, Joe Biden apparently was seen muttering to himself in the quiet car on Amtrak. Did you see this?
No.
I don't know who wrote this, but muttering. He's like hunched over briefing books, and he's like, God's honest truth. What's this whole GDP thing? Are you saying this is different from where I buy my hair supplements at vitamin store? I'm very confused. And this QE3 thing, is that like a new cruise liner? What the hell is that? QE3.
You're the best.
Guy is going to be ugly.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Good to see you.
Laura Ingraham here all over the country on the radio. 12 minutes down till the hour.